Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and in this episode, we are talking about TV shows. I've got a stack of TV on DVD and Blu-ray that we're going to be reviewing in this video. We've covered all this stuff before. We've done this in unboxing videos and in new release videos, just kind of showing the here it is kind of videos. And I always say when we unbox these things that we'll circle back around and review them later. Well, this is circling back around because we're actually reviewing these shows. In every case, every show here, I've watched at least the first season. So I feel comfortable talking to you guys about what I think about it, about the show itself. We're not going to get into like technical specs or anything like that. Packaging, no. This is a review show for the TV shows themselves. I put links to where you can buy all these in the description of this video. This is not all US releases. These are some worldwide releases. But check the description of this video if you want to pick some of these up, support those companies, and support Serial at Midnight. We're kicking it off with Franklin and Bash, the complete series from Mill Creek Entertainment. This is a DVD set. This is an 8-disc set. And this is a show I was familiar with, but I'd never actually sat down and watched it. And it's so much fun. It's a really fun show. It's Mark Paul Gosselaar and Breckin Meyer. And they're dude bro lawyers. And that's what it is. It's like Maxim Magazine at a law firm. And I say Maxim Magazine, like you so couldn't make this TV show now. This is what, 2011 to 2014. And the time this was not that long ago. For me, 10 years ago, not that long ago. Less than 10 years. But it feels like a lifetime ago. The tagline for this show in the UK, at least someone marketed this as it's Ally McBeal with balls. And that's very accurate. It's kind of a meta commentary on the lawyer show with the most unconventional characters you would ever think of as being lawyers. And they break all the rules. You know, they're like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. You know, it's like they're loose cannons. They do things their way, man. And it's got like Malcolm McDowell is their boss. Malcolm McDowell from A Clockwork Orange. They actually have in their house. They have a poster for A Clockwork Orange. So they have Malcolm McDowell on the show and A Clockwork Orange poster. It's just like this metatextual thing, right? It's a commentary on so much of this stuff, and it's just having fun. It's as much a comedy show as it is more of a comedy show than a law show. I mean, it's good cases and everything. Every episode has a legal case. They got to go to court, but it's really fun as well. So the guest stars, I mean, they got like Harry Hamlin in here. My favorite probably that I've seen so far is Sean Astin, who's like a suburban superhero. Like Sean Astin, right, is a suburban superhero kind of guy. Like he saves people and he stops crime, and it's fun. It's a really fun show. So this is a 4-season show that has 10 episodes per season. 40 episodes is the entire series. You guys know how I feel about show. I have a 4-season theory, and that some of you agree with and some of you don't, and that's fine. There's a video about it. I'm gonna put that video in the description of this video, so you can just scroll down after you finish this one. Finish this one, and then you can go check that one out. But in summary, just a recap, is I believe that every TV show has, at best, 4 peak years before there's a decline. Before character development, character relationships can only go upwards for so long before you've okay, we've done it. How many times can Ross and Rachel, will they, won't they? At a certain point, we don't care anymore, right? So you only have a certain amount of time. I believe it's 4 seasons. It doesn't mean that a show's bad after 4 seasons. It just means that it falls into repetition, that sort of thing. So 4 seasons for this show, 10 episodes, that's great. That's like a best case scenario, because 40 episodes, you've done it, man. You've said all you had to say. You've really explored that stuff. So I really like Franklin and Bash. I'm actually halfway into the 2nd season, and I'm really enjoying it. It just makes me happy. I'll pop it on at night, and like right before bed. It's a good right before bed show, because it's just kind of light and fluffy and fun. 12 Monkeys, also from Mill Creek Entertainment, but this is the Blu-ray box set. This is a really smart and intelligent and compelling take on time travel. And coming off of the movie, I'm not a huge fan of the 12 Monkeys movie. I like it. It's not something I feel the need to revisit. Like, I was there, I did it. I was like, well, that was pretty good. But the show is able, like when they announced the show, right? I was like, how are you going to do a TV show for a movie that's like a 2-hour movie? And it does it. Again, I'm kind of about economy, right? Like I know, if you watch that video, Bree, the other half of Serial at Midnight, the producer behind the scenes, she's very focused on, she just wants to be with the characters. She wants to spend time with these characters. I'm focused on like structure and things. Like I don't watch things like other, it's not a choice. I see the process. And so I was like, how are you going to stretch this concept out into a whole series? Well, they do, and they do a really good job with it. Now, there are some episodes of 12 Monkeys that feel like bottle shows, if you know what I mean. Like, bottle shows are shows that are shot. They're like, okay, we just need to bang one out cheap to kind of compensate for our budget. We spent a lot of money over here on this mega special effects episode. We need to do something that's a little more contained. So you got a bottle show that takes place in a building or something like that. It's got a few episodes that I'm just like, okay, this is cool, but so much of it has such large production values. I was really impressed with the show, to be honest with you guys. And I haven't watched the whole series. I've still got most of the series in front of me, but I can already tell that, I mean, they've done things with the show that it's a break from the movie, right? Like the movie is it's great for what it is. But you can't take a 2-hour movie and stretch it into another 4-season show. But you can expand on things and develop. So it's almost a different thing. It's kind of the same idea: time travel, going back to fix what went horribly wrong, to sacrifice yourself now for the good of the future. That's Terminator, all this stuff, right? So I don't know. It's just really good. It's got a lot of extras. I believe it has every single extra from there were individual seasons of this before Mill Creek put this out. This is the only complete series set in the North American region, and I believe every single special feature has been carried over. It's loaded. I mean, it's absolutely loaded with stuff. So, great. It's great, and it's a serious take on a interesting mental concept. The whole time travel thing. So here's the Future Man. I've only brought season 1 because they're in individual cases. We unboxed Future Man, the complete series. This is on Blu-ray from, I say Via Vision Entertainment because that's just how I say Via. Someone took me to task and they said, you're saying Via wrong. Perhaps it's Via Vision. However it's pronounced in your region. It's Via Vision or Via Vision. That's the company behind this. And it is the time travel series, but with a comedy take. And just counterbalancing these two shows, the serious take on time travel and the comedy take, both totally valid. But this is a show, it's Josh Hutcherson from Hunger Games, right, and other things. He produced, Seth Rogen and his partner Evan Goldberg are also in the mix of this as well. And it's, oh my goodness. I love this show. This show is so much fun. It is a meta-commentary, like Franklin and Bash is kind of a meta-commentary on that sort of show. That's what this is for the 12 Monkeys concept. And they reference, I think the creators of the show, I believe, are the same people behind the movie Blockers, behind the movie Neighbors 2. So it's that kind of humor, but it's low humor. It's a lot of bathroom humor, a lot of naughty humor. It's very adult. It's not for kids. There's lots of nudity and stuff. But it's so ridiculous, but so endearing and so sincere. That's the thing, is like this show is so sincere. It plays with concepts. Listen, in something like Ready Player One, which I'm not a big fan of because it's very heavy on reference, but it doesn't do anything with it. Sorry. I mean, look, if you like Ready Player One, I'm so happy for you. I'm not trying to take anything. I got to be honest about me, right? We have to be honest about what we think, or none of it matters. If you're not honest, nothing matters. So this does what Ready Player One does, but in a way that I think is more. It has fun with the pieces, and it doesn't. It's a tonal thing. So. They've referenced, I'm not spoiling this for you guys, basically, it's another one of those, we got to go back in the past to change our horrible future. And Josh Hutcherson is Futterman, who is a video game fan, and he's like, it's the last Starfighter, right? He's like, he beats this video game, and then the people from the future come, and they're like, you're the only one that's done it. You beat the video game. Come save our future. And he's like the last Starfighter? And they're like, well, yeah, but we had to go back in time so that we could fix what goes horribly wrong. He's like Back to the Future? I mean, they're so aware of it and they reference it. And every time they change the future or change the timeline, they do like the little Back to the Future, like, little Back to the Future audio note to let you know that something's been changed. But it goes like the 13 episode season. The characters at the beginning of the series or season and at the end of the season drastically different, and it's amazing how much ground they cover. It's remarkable. It's really great storytelling in a way like you were talking about 12 Monkeys. In a way that like 12 Monkeys does it seriously. This just has fun with it. So we go to like Terminator 2 land. Even the font, like they'll be every time they show you the year, it's Terminator 2 font. And they do cop stuff. They go back to 1969. They go to James Cameron's house in the future. It's so much fun. I have had a blast with this show. Another one of those that's just really fun to put on at night. It's got some great guest stars in it too. Haley Joel Osment as well is a regular in that series. If you're ever wondering what happened to the kid in The Sixth Sense, there he is. The Kenny Everett video show, also from Via Vision. The Kenny Everett Show, this was one that I had never heard of before I saw that it was coming out, and I had to do some research about it. And I'm super impressed with this show. So Kenny Everett, here's what I know now that I didn't really know in the unboxing video, is that Kenny Everett, basically a pioneer in pirate radio in the UK. So you guys know the whole thing about like BBC, well maybe you don't know, but companies own the airwaves, right? We're kind of seeing that with what's going on with WB and this forthcoming streaming service. And like companies own everything. And in the UK, the radio had kind of been, I want to say kind of corporatized. It was like government owned, like state run radio, right? And so the pirate radio movement pops up and there'd be these ships offshore playing whatever they wanted to play for the people. Kenny Everett kind of comes out of this scene as a DJ, was it late 50s, early 60s, early rock and roll stuff, right? Cliff Richard. He was big with the Beatles. Like he was friends with the Beatles. He went on tour with the Beatles for a while. He would do like one man, like he was a DJ, right? He'd do these one man shows. He'd do like all the voices. And you think there's a conversation between this room full of people and it's just him. So he works his way up. He gets a job at the BBC and then he gets a show for Tim's on the UK television, and it's so much of an extension of what he had been doing on radio. Characters, wacky characters, the weird voices. It's surrealist. It's counterculture. It's very punk rock. And it's so much. It's good. It's really good. It reminds me of like what we used to have. That's a theme with Serial at Midnight, right? It's like, look what we used to have. It's so anti-authoritarian. It's amazing that it was on the authoritarian platform, right? And so he has another selling point is every episode, because he came from music, had these music performances. I don't think they were actually live. I think that in most cases the performers are lip syncing to their music, but getting to see these people at arguably some of their peaks, you know. I'm gonna pull the sheet out here so I can name some of the people who are here. Bonnie Tyler, Yellow Dog, Darts, Nick Lowe, Suzi Quatro, The Who, The Moody Blues, 10cc. Let's see. I'm going to look into forward seasons. Thin Lizzy. Oh, man, you guys, Thin Lizzy. Leo Sayer. The Sex Pistols, David Bowie, the Boomtown Rats, Cliff Richard. It's kind of huge for music, right? What I've also learned is that there are some musical performances that had to be omitted because they did not have proper licensing. It says there's a write-up in here, and it says like a blurb, and it says that in some cases there was no paperwork for the bands that appeared on the show. It seems like it was a favor because they just liked Kenny Everett. And in other cases, the paperwork there is paperwork for things you wouldn't expect. Basically, there's not paperwork to clear some of this stuff for home media. So Wings, Paul McCartney's band Wings, they did the show. They're not here. ELO is another one. Jeff Lynne's ELO. Just they couldn't get it cleared, I guess, for the DVD release. But so much of it is here. The Captain Crimin cartoons. So if you grew up in the 80s on Nickelodeon, first of all, if you grew up in the 80s on Nickelodeon, you're going to love this show if you're not familiar with it, because it's that spirit. Nickelodeon was very punk rock in the 80s. You can't do that on television. I mean, all that stuff. It feels similar to this. So Danger Mouse was the studio that did Danger Mouse did the animation for this. This was pre-Danger Mouse. And it's the adventures of Captain Crimmon in space. He's like, his ship is like a tape player, like a cassette tape player, because it's the 70s. And they get in these weird, surreal alien adventures with these other, these different cultures and stuff. It's just fun. And it's dirty. It's adult humor. It's very subversive stuff. He's got a character, one of his live characters is like Lord Thames, and it's like the button down. It's exactly what you would expect. Here's what's interesting about this, though. I'm about to move on from this. The Kenny Everett show it's relying on characters. And every single sketch that's 8 episode seasons and then a holiday special, like a New Year's Day special. The characters do the same bits in every single episode. It's like, well, this is weird. Every single episode is the same bit. So you've got like the very conservative old lady with the boobs, and in every it's because it's him. And you have like balloons for boobs. And then in every single one of those sketches in every episode, he pops the balloons every single time. This is repetition, and that repetition, I mean, it's comforting in a way, right? Like you binge it, you're like, well, we did this 20 minutes ago. But if you're watching this, week after week or whatever, it just becomes like this, like, oh, he's going to do the thing. That is never more apparent than on the Benny Hill. This is the Benny Hill annuals. I guess the Benny Hill show, it wasn't a series, right? Like it wasn't, Mondays at 6:45 or whatever. It was sporadic, and they call them annuals, I suppose, because it was specials, right? 2, 3, 4 specials every year. So this doesn't have strict seasons, but I've watched many discs of this, so I can report on this, right? In fact, here is if you guys want to see, those are the episodes themselves and the discs that they're on. So you can see not that many shows in a single year. 4 shows in a year. Started in the late 60s, and they've actually included, it's 1970 to 1979, but they've included those 60s episodes. Benny Hill, the same thing. Every single episode, there would be the guy that he talks like this and he does this with that character, and then there's the character he does these like double entendre songs. Here's the thing: like Benny Hill has taken on such a reputation as being raunchy and almost predatory, right, in modern conversations, but it's so not that. It's so fun and innocent, and everybody feels like they're having a good time. It's not creepy. It's not dirty old man stuff. It's just fun. It's an attitude of a different time. And we would know that it would live until it didn't live anymore, which was the end of the 80s. And that was like, nope, we're done with that. We're not having fun with that anymore. But while it was there, it was just this really refreshing, lighthearted, cheeky humor, right? It's like the joy of, someone saying something that has 2 meanings, and then Benny Hill would frequently like look at the camera and like, that's part of the fun, is he invited us in on the fun, and he never, just like so much of what I'm talking about here, well, the reason I respond to it is because it's not humor at the expense of anyone. It's different kinds of humor, but it's having fun with you. It's inviting us in on this experience that says like, we know what this is about, right? And so he would do that a lot. He'd sing these songs, and if the audience didn't laugh, he'd be like, all right, now, come on now, that was a good one. Roll over your head. So Johnny Carson would do the same thing on the Tonight Show, is he would, you comment on what doesn't work, just like you comment on what does work. I have had an absolute blast watching the Benny Hill show I'm not finished by a long shot, because it went for 20 years. But just living with these characters, getting to spend time with, Benny Hill is an amazing talent, a musical talent. He played guitar, I'm like, is he playing guitar? And like, I'll watch his hands, like, totally. He's just like, ding, 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 ding. Like, that's a chord. Oh, he's in like A sharp minor. Like, whoa. Really good, gifted musician. he wrote all the shows. All the stuff came from his head. So the sketches come from his head. The music, the songs. Like, imagine writing a new funny song like 4 times a year and it's still holding up and being clever. He was very clever. So this is from Via Vision. All the stuff that we're ending with is from Via Vision Entertainment. Let's wrap it up with Man About the House. This is the UK show that was the inspiration for Three's Company. It is Three's Company. Three's Company is Man About the House, is what I should say. And so all the premises that get caught up in that, like I want to bring a girl home to the apartment, but you ladies are here, and also the landlord thinks that I'm not interested in ladies, that sort of a thing. But what I like about Man About the House, in addition to just being like, it was the first, it's the one that invented the thing. Now Three's Company has, oh my gosh, that's John Ritter. I couldn't think of his name. Has John Ritter. There's no substitute for John Ritter. He was an amazing talent. But it's the thing that started the thing. Instead of the Regal Beagle, it's the Lucky Duck. He's got his best friend's name is Larry, the womanizer Larry. It's so interesting to see how much of this translates, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun show. They did 6 and 7 episode seasons, right? That's the UK TV model most of the time for stuff like this. It's not a soap opera. It was a sitcom, right? Tea time sitcom, I guess. And they are short seasons, as is often the case. And that doesn't allow it to wear its welcome out, right? You don't need 12 seasons of Man About the House. You need a few. And then you've done the thing. Again, that's one of the things I like, is they've got the concept here. They run with it for a while, and they're like, I think we did it. Let's move on. And then, of course, you go off to Robin's Nest, which is the next series, which we have on DVD from Via Vision Entertainment, which is the sequel series, where he's got the restaurant, and he's got the relationship with his significant other, and it's the next step. And there was a spin-off TV series for the landlords, for the Roper characters as well. Everything we know about Three's Company comes from this show. And it's a good show. It's really fun. It's dirtier than Three's Company because it did not have U.S. censors and those sorts of things to deal with. So it's just not like, it's not anything goes, but a lot goes, and it's in the language. It's in the way they talk about things. It's just, it's fun. And I like that stuff. Again, from an innocent, more, in a lot of ways, we would look back on that and we'd be like, well, I'm glad that things aren't exactly the same as they were back then. But there was like an innocence and an enthusiasm that we have lost. Just because of, drugs and disease. At the time, it was just a more optimistic time and you could just get away with so much more. And that's represented in all of this. A Benny Hill, Kenny Everett show. It's from a different time. I got to go back to the Kenny Everett show because I didn't talk about Hot Gossip, which is, speaking of cheeky, Hot Gossip was the resident Kenny Everett dance troupe. I think it was 7 women and 3 men. And it was hot. It is hot. And they're all here. It's these dancers, again, 78, 79, 80. Very, like, pre-punk, post-punk, pre-new wave. That's what it is. It's like the birth of new wave. And I'm telling the dancing, like leotards, lots of oiled up legs, stuff like that. But it's good too. It's like an artistic statement. They'll do disco. They'll do in one of them. Oh, you guys! In one of them, they do okay. They do the Lou Reed. They do a Lou Reed song. I'm not going to name it because I don't even want to get into the whole thing and start a conversation about that. But they do Lou Reed stuff, and it's like very progressive for what it was doing. And because it was a video show, the premise of the show being a video show is that everything is kind of edited on video. You can do a lot of editing tricks. You can have like multiple Kenny Everetts talking to each other. He was very steeped in production. So, guys, that's going to do it for this TV talk episode of Clearly I'm really enjoying all of this stuff. Have you picked any of it up, and what do you think about it? I know so many of you guys may have even grown up with these shows, and you know all about them. I'm so glad that these are on DVD and Blu-ray thanks to these companies, Mill Creek Entertainment, Via Vision Entertainment. It's important that the past is not forgotten or left. This is a conversation we're having more and more now, and it's potentially very scary times, because the major companies that are running everything, they're not putting things that are kind of controversial on streaming services. They're just not. So enter the disc, enter preservation, interpersonal libraries, more important than ever. And I'm really thankful that we have the opportunity to put these things on our shelves forever, so we can archive them forever. They are for us, hopefully for our children, our children's children. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. What do you think about these shows? Let me know in the comments below. Check out those links in the description. Thanks again. Take care. And until next time, I will catch you later.